Dobar dan i dobrodošli u E-misiju. Danas ćemo zavirati u svet inovacija koje čine našu svakodnevnicu čistijom i održivijom. Pričat ćemo o tehnologijama koje koriste solarne panele i druge zelene izvore energije. Kako bi punjenje električnih vozila bilo efikasno i ekološki odgovorno. Moj današnji specijalni gost koji je u Srbiji kako bi predstavio i napredio ove projekte je gospodin Dezmond Vitlijem, CEO kompanije BIM Global. Mr. Vitlijem, thank you for being with us today. Can you please tell our audience what is BIM Global and what does your company actually do?
Yeah, well, it's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. BIM Global is a San Diego headquartered sustainable technology innovation company. That means we invent, we design, we engineer, and we actually manufacture a suite of products which have certain things in common. They're sustainable, they're green, they're clean. They generate and store their own. Yeah, exactly. They generate and store their own electricity. And we concentrate on three market verticals. The electrification of transportation is number one and probably the biggest. Energy security, by which we simply mean a more reliable source of electricity than that which you get from the utility grid, which is of course prone to blackouts and brownouts. Our products will continue to provide electricity during those times. And then finally on smart cities solutions, which is adding intelligence to the built infrastructure to make cities, I think so, yeah, make cities more efficient and safer moving into the future.
Where is the idea about BIM Global?
So in 2010, it became obvious to me that we were going to see the electrification of transportation entirely. And then it also was obvious to me that we'd had over a century to build all the petrol stations around the world, but that we were going to have to replace that fueling infrastructure in 1 or 2 decades. So we needed something very rapidly deployed, something very scalable, and something that could add capacity to the electrical infrastructure, but without going through construction and electrical work and relying on the traditional centralized utility grid. And that was where the idea was born, to create products which we could rapidly fabricate and then equally rapidly deploy so that there'd be enough fueling infrastructure for the very rapid onslaught of electric vehicles.
Sure, I'm sure that there was a lot of challenge.
Well, yeah, in fact, when we first started, we simply couldn't make it work. The materials technology, battery technology, these things were not quite advanced enough to make the products as efficient, certainly as they are today. We did it, but the products are far better nowadays. And then also, if I'm honest, the adoption of electric vehicles was slower than my optimistic point of view. I'm often very optimistic about how quickly new technologies will come online.
We need to be optimistic always, yeah.
So it was a struggle to get through those first few years, but now, of course, we're seeing globally the adoption of electric vehicles and energy security products rapidly.
Yes, it's rapidly, really. So you come from San Diego, right?
Yes, I live in San Diego in the factories. And I'm from Scotland originally, but I live in San Diego, and that's where our headquarters is.
So when you come in Serbia, how you find it, situation? What was your first impression?
Actually, very favorable. I must confess that I knew very little about Serbia before I came here, but when I did come here for the first time, I was immediately impressed by the people, the quality of the people, language skills, education, work ethic. You can just tell by the way people move in the street in Belgrade. You know, they're in a hurry. Sure. They're eager to get things done. You don't see that everywhere in the world. Yes, there's a lot of very positive energy here, and I also felt that it was a bit of a new frontier as well for particularly Western businesses. This is a place that not a lot of businesses had come at the time, and so this was a great opportunity for us to get in early.
Sure, but this topic in Serbia is still a bit unknown. So how you find this situation here?
I think you're right that there's, you know, the speed of adoption, particularly of electric vehicles in Serbia, has not been as fast as it's been in places like Norway or the Netherlands. Sure. Or others. But we know it's coming. It's an inevitability. Europe will pass a law which will prevent the sale of anything but zero-emission vehicles in 10 years from now. Sure. And that means that all cars will become electric before very long. So yes, it'll happen quickly, especially from an infrastructure point of view. It'll happen very quickly, and so we'll see that happen here in Serbia, and that'll be a really good thing for Serbians.
I'm sure, yes, because also we need a lot of education, and we need to educate the people actually how it's work. Yeah. Yes, and what is BIM Global different company from the other producer of charging station or the other?
Yeah, I mean,
what is the difference?
The chief differentiator for us is that we make a suite of products which do not require construction or electrical work to make them work. So we can deploy very rapidly a very robust solution. Because the product generates and stores all of its own electricity, we don't have a utility bill, and we're immune to grid failures as well. But the chief differentiator is that we've productized that process that normally other companies have to go through, which is getting permits, engineering drawings, connecting to the utility grid, digging trenches, pouring concrete. All of those things you do not need to do with our products. And the result of that is that we deploy EV charging in about 1 hour. And in some places, like for example, New York City is our biggest municipal customer. It takes 2 years to put a traditional grid-tied charger on the ground. We do the same thing in 1 hour. So it's scalability and it's speed, and then it's a very robust product.
Wow. That's really great. And for the people that first time heard about Beam Global, can you explain them what is this charging station and how it's work actually?
The first thing that's really important to point out is we don't actually make the charger, the thing that connects to the vehicle. We're agnostic as to those brands. That's an appliance. Lots of companies do that. We make a product that makes chargers work. And so we give them somewhere to mount, and then we provide the energy that they require to pass through to the vehicle. So we're using predominantly solar and also wind to generate electricity, and then we're storing that electricity in onboard batteries, so the product works daytime, nighttime, during periods of poor weather. It continues to operate, and all of that in a productized bundle. It's very attractive, fits inside a standard legal size parking space, but crucially, you do not lose available parking because we've designed it and we've patented it in such a way that you can park a vehicle on the product and you don't lose the parking space.
How long does it take to install such one station? You tell me 1 hour.
Yes.
But for all process?
Yeah, we arrive on site, the product folds down on itself using hydraulics. When it gets to the site, it folds open like a flower, basically. It doesn't look like a flower, but it's or more like a satellite. When a satellite arrives in space, it folds out its solar panels.
It looks like sunflower.
Well, it doesn't look like that, but it behaves a little bit like one. It tracks, it follows the sun as the sun moves across the sky so that we get more generation, more electricity from the solar energy. And then, yes, we're storing that energy and then we're passing it into the car. And again, without construction, without a utility bill. So the energy is essentially free. People are driving down the road on free, driving on sunshine, we call it.
Sure, yeah. And are these stations connected with the network or not?
All the products that we make can connect to the grid network, and there's some really important reasons why they do that, but none of them need to, and that's a crucial differentiator for us. So we can put EV charging anywhere really quickly, even if there's no utility grid connection. We can provide electric vehicle charging again in a very short period of time. But there are some instances where it makes sense to connect to the grid, and sometimes that's to benefit the grid. If the grid can reach into our batteries when it comes under stress, we can protect it from blackouts and brownouts. We leave that up to the customer.
And during the winter time, how it's work?
Yeah, it works less well.
Because in Serbia it's winter, you know, long a bit.
Yes, look, it works less well, but this is an industry where perfect is the enemy of good. What we're really chiefly interested in is, can we produce enough energy to power our car down the road the way the user wants it? So to give you a good example, New York City, in the winter, the weather's very bad there too. It's cold and snowing and raining, and yet we can give enough fuel to 5 New York City fleet cars from one of our products so that they can drive every day. And the key thing there is to understand that we don't need perfect conditions, we don't need perfect performance, we just need to provide enough power to fuel those vehicles to get their mission completed, and we do that very well.
Yeah, which is great. And how many vehicles can be charged per day?
That's entirely up to our customer. So you could charge a lot of vehicles with a little bit of energy, or you could put all of the energy into 1 or 2 vehicles. What we found is that most people don't drive, well, in fact, I can tell you in Europe, people drive about 30 kilometers per day. That's about the average that people drive. And so our station, in the summertime, you could charge 10, 15 cars on our station. In the winter time, maybe half that many, but that's still a lot of vehicles to get their fuel from a single parking space with no construction, no connection to the utility grid.
Punjači BIM Global za električna vozila su potpuno sigurni jer ne zahtevaju priključak na distributivnu mrežu i instalaciju. Rade potpuno nezavisno, koristeći solarne panele i ugrađene baterije. To znači da se možete puniti bez rizika, čak i na mestima gde nema standardne struje. And what are some of your other products, such Beam Spot or Beam Bike?
Yeah, Beam Spot's a new product. We're very excited about that. And by the way, a lot of the development work on that was done here in Serbia by our team in Serbia. We're very proud of that. It's a beautiful product. It's a street light replacement. You take out an existing street light, you put Beam Spot in its place. It has a light wind generator.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great. Yeah, very interesting. Yes.
Tracking solar, following the sun as it moves across the sky. And then the pole of the street light is full of our proprietary batteries and electronics and other technologies. And so what it allows us to do is take a situation where there's only been a light before and turn that into a fueling facility, a disaster preparedness asset, and crucially, the street light, if there is a blackout or a brownout, we will continue to provide light and other safety amenities in the street during those types of events. So it's also multiple layers of value. Beautiful too.
Yes.
Very striking.
Very great, yes. And which is products more requested?
At the moment, we sell more EV arcs, so that's the one for electric cars than anything else. We have thousands of those deployed across the United States and in Europe and places like Cyprus. We're also shipping down to the Middle East at the moment, manufactured in Serbia in our facilities here. So,
what is your main market here in Balkan?
Well, in the Balkans, it's really varied. Hungary, Romania, here in Serbia, but Europe is definitely a very big target for us. Europe's actually the largest market in the world for our products, and I mean Greater Europe, not just the EU. About 405 million cars in Greater Europe. Contrast that with 320 million in China, or 190 million, or 290 million in the United States. Europe's a much larger market. So this Serbian facility that we have will produce product for that entire region, and we believe it will be the biggest market in the world for our products.
Yes, and how do this solution help to the cities? I guess for the smart cities, this is a very good option.
I think everybody accepts that cities are going to see an increase in electrification of transportation, more electric vehicles. It's going to happen. There's no question about it. They're going to need a lot more infrastructure, but they need intelligent.
What do you think when it's going to happen?
Within the next decade, you will see a very dramatic change. Again, after 2035, you won't be able to buy a diesel or gasoline vehicle here. So we're talking about 9 years from now. So you see a very dramatic change. And the consumer, I think, will drive a lot of that because electric vehicles are a lot more fun. They're much less expensive to operate. They drive better. So you'll see a lot of consumer adoption. Cities will benefit from our products because they'll get infrastructure very quickly. They'll get it without any disruption. Remember, we're not digging up the streets. We're not having to connect wires or pouring concrete or anything like that. And then we're also adding capacity to their energy infrastructure, but without them having to go through the very time-consuming and laborious process of building power stations and distribution and transmission infrastructure. On the smart city side of things, they'll get a lot more intelligence. That will allow city managers, law enforcement, health services to much more effectively provide services to citizens, and frankly, without the citizens even noticing.
And in which location we can see your chargers, your products?
Well, you can certainly see some right here in Belgrade.
Yeah, I saw that in airport.
Yes, exactly. The airport's a great example.
It's a great location.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really thrilled about that. What's fantastic about that is actually the business model behind it. Those systems are free to use by members of the public who go down there and park at the airport.
So it's for free when you charge your car?
They can charge for free, driving on sunshine, emissions-free, guilt-free, and the best free of all, free. And the reason that we're able to do that is because they're actually sponsored and supported by Globus Insurance. So Globus Insurance pays a fee to be there, to have their naming brand, and to provide driving on sunshine to the public for free.
So if some company want to make advertising, they can also put in there your advertising on your product.
Exactly. So the sponsorship model we think is a very good business model. It allows us to deploy the infrastructure without cost to the host, so the airport doesn't pay for it, and then it allows us to give driving on sunshine for free to the drivers. And the great thing is the sponsor benefits tremendously too, because they get a lot more positive feeling from the public, less expensively than, for example, a billboard or some other type of infrastructure. So it's a really intelligent way of delivering these types of services without cost to the end user.
And which is location also can be also good for your products, not just the airport. Let's say some location, not just public, also private.
Yes. So, I mean, look, the great majority of our stations are deployed in cities. We're also in very remote locations because, of course, because we don't need the grid, we can deploy anywhere. So, national parks, remote locations like that. But the majority of them are in cities where it's often more difficult to deliver the grid just by digging up the streets than it is in some remote location. Fleet vehicles, we do a lot of business for fleets, powering fleets. The US Army is our biggest customer. New York City, as I said, is our biggest municipal customer. And then the state of California is our biggest state customer in the US. And most of those are for fleet applications, so we're powering fleet vehicles. But you'll also see us deployed in all sorts of public locations where people who just drive electric vehicles, they pull over, they have lunch, they plug in. During their lunch, they get all of the range that they use driving to that location back, and it's all coming from sunshine or wind.
Also here in Serbia, we have a lot of agriculture. I guess we can also, people can use also for this segment.
No question about it. We're powering electric tractors already in wineries and other farm environments, yes, and other agricultural equipment. And then industrial equipment, construction equipment now is becoming electric, and we're powering that type of infrastructure as well.
So useful, yeah. And how do governments and local communities react on your products, on your company?
Well, if they have already installed grid-tied charging and gone through the pain of that process of doing the construction electrical work, I mean, I can tell you they react with a lot of relief when they find our product because hey, you can deploy it in an hour, we don't need to dig up the streets, we don't need to go through any of those processes. It also saves them a lot of money because they don't have to pay for utility bills, the energy's free, and in most cases when we deploy, the cost of our product is less than the avoided cost of construction, electrical work, permitting, and all the disruption. And then when we tell them that we can have the thing deployed in an hour, not 2 years or 18 months of that process, they're generally thrilled to bits. So, and finally, most cities nowadays have at least some plan to do some kind of carbon reduction, to clean reduce their emissions and to clean up their contribution to pollution. Our products, of course, provide the ultimate for that because we're using renewable energy, putting it directly into their vehicles. So we're not just displacing gasoline and diesel, we're also displacing electricity, which is fired with coal or natural gas or those sort of things. Our electricity is 100% renewable.
Sure. And what attracts you from Serbia to invest here?
Well, as I said previously, the number one reason is the quality of the people. Very well educated, great language skills, as I said, and a great work ethic too, frankly. I've really enjoyed working with the Serbian team here. And the way our Serbian teams have integrated with our US teams, there really is only one Beam team. We have, Beam Europe, we have Beam Global, and we have Beam Middle East, but there's only one Beam team. And everybody here works very well with their US counterparts.
So all people are from Serbia that work in Beam Global? Or you're also...
No. We have Serbian people working in Serbia. We have Americans working in America.
But in Serbia, is it Serbian people?
Yes, all of them are Serbian, and again, the great contributors to the global
so
Beam
you find
team.
good team here.
Yeah, absolutely, with no question about it. Yeah, very easy to get along with, great to work with. But also, Serbia is also very well positioned for us. Very central. We're servicing the Middle East now from Serbia. We can expand into Africa from here, and then we can deliver product across Europe as well. So it's a very good location logistically for us. In fact, we've even shipped product to the United States from Serbia.
From Serbia, so you produce here and ship there?
Because the economics are good here. So we can make products here and ship them to the US, and it makes sense for us to do that. So the location is also really great.
What is the difference to work here and on another side of the world?
Maybe it's partly to do the fact that I'm from Scotland, and I think Serbian people have more in common with Scottish people than sometimes Americans do. So that maybe I feel a little bit home while I'm over here. But I'll tell you, I also think Serbian people are very entrepreneurial, they're very dynamic, they're very solutions oriented, they're looking for ways to make things work. And they don't think of, the answer is not no and then let me think why, it's yes and let me think how. And that's really important to me.
How can this investment impact young people in Serbia?
Look, we create products which are about tomorrow. They're not about today or yesterday, they're about tomorrow. I mean, increasingly they're about today, but they're certainly not about yesterday. And we are very enthusiastic about the idea of bringing people out of universities or people even that don't have university educations and training them in these new technologies of tomorrow, giving them those sorts of skill sets. Now, we want them to stay with us, but at any rate, they're learning career skills, which I think will be very beneficial.
Which is very important because a lot of people leave Serbia because they want an opportunity, new technology, innovative technology they want. So
that's right.
This is
so we want to do that here.
Also that
we want to do
Beam
that
Global
here.
doing.
Yes, we want to give them that opportunity to stay here and work in these new industries. And then, if I may say so, I want people to do work that they're proud of. I want people to go home at the end of the day and know that the products that they made have made Serbia better, made Europe better, and made the planet better.
And the transport, where it's going to be in 10 years?
Yeah, you're going to be sitting in a car, you're going to be doing your work, or you're going to be watching a movie or something like that, because you won't need to be driving them. That's going to be really the next major shift in transportation. Level. Yes, and it's here now. The technology exists today. It's the last 2% is always the hardest thing to perfect, but that will reduce insurance costs. It will reduce accidents. It'll clean up the environment and allow people to be less congestion as well. Fewer cars on the road. You don't need to worry about parking and all those sorts of things. So I think that's going to be one of the next big steps. Yes. And we intend to play a role in it.
Yeah, so yeah. Mr. Vitlijem, thank you so much. It was a really pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for sharing with us all your experience, and hope to see you soon. And welcome in Serbia, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And now we are going in Kraljevo to see the company and meet the new technologies and innovative things about your Beam Global.
I can't wait for you to do that. It's fantastic, very exciting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vožnja električnog auta smanjuje emisiju ugljen dioksida, štedi energiju i doprinosi čistijoj i zdravijoj životnoj sredini. Svaka odluka u pravcu održive mobilnosti čini razliku. U narednoj epizodi vodimo vas u Kraljevo, gde ćete iz prve ruke moći da vidite kako Beam Global proizvodi svoje inovativne rešenja koje menjaju način na koji punimo električna vozila. Biće to pravo putovanje kroz tehnologiju. Ja sam Aleksandra Miljanić, hvala vam što ste bili uz nas, vidimo se naredne nedelje. Sada da vidimo kako funkcioniše i Beam Spot. Obzirom da je prvo punjenje na Beam Spot, za mene objasnite nam samu proceduru. Verujem da je vrlo jednostavna.
Sistem za praćenje sunca je jedan od naših patenata i on je integrisan u sve naše solarne stanice za praćenje, za punjenje električnih vozila. Sada vidimo finalni proizvod
koji je spreman za isporuku.
Koji je spreman za isporuku i za korišćenje.